Freelancing. Work from anywhere. No boss. A lot of stress. Bad clients. Just maybe having a full-time job is better.
Gen Z Boston and Mini! Gen Z!
Okay, never mind. In today's video, I will talk about my 4-year experience of freelancing. By the way, I have made 90K on Upwork alone, so the knowledge I will share is somewhat decent. And also, we will be talking with other freelancers to see what they think. So if you're a software developer, 3D artist, game developer, or a UI designer, basically if you do any tech stuff, this freelancing video is for you. So everything that I learned in these past 4 years can be summarized with this house. House of freelance success. It will make sense in a minute, just hold on. And yeah, first when you start building your house of free, it's empty. You basically have a free land where you can start building your house. And having a niche is the foundation of the house. And a niche can't be just front end or back end. It has to be at least 3 levels down. So in my case, it was front end, React.js, 3JS. Why? Well, competition. And also skills, so competition and skills. There are about 8,000 jobs for a front-end developer, but most of these jobs will have 50 plus proposals. And that basically means the competition and skills required are 10 out of 10. If there's 50 plus people applying and they only pick one person, you have to be really, really good at front-end development for them to pick you. Same thing goes for React, 4,000 jobs. The competition is going to be like 8 and the skills required is going to be 9 because again, so many people, you have to stand out. It's going to be really hard. Level 3, which is 3JS, that is the small niche that I chose. There are about 100 jobs. It's usually going to be less than 5 or 10 people applying to a single job. So the competition is going to be a lot smaller, so I would say 2 out of 10. And the skills required would be about 5 out of 10. You don't have to be insane, but you have to be okay. And if you're okay in a smaller niche, the chances of you getting a job are just a lot higher. And this takes us to the big question: how do you find a good niche? And to be honest, I don't know. I tried asking ChatGPT and it was like, assess your interest, explore different fields, research markets, experiment and build projects, blah, blah, blah. Maybe do what you're good at. In my case, I was kind of good at 3D stuff. So going web development plus 3D basically meant 3JS. But to be honest, it's just really hard. My weird take is this. Think of something that will only be cooler or crazier in the next 5 to 10 years and just do that. So once you find your niche and you have the foundation of the house, you start building the walls of the house. Basically, the portfolio. Everybody knows a portfolio is really important. I just want to provide some proof that it actually is really important. This was my software developer freelancing account, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could get a freelancing job even though I have basically no reviews. So this was the first portfolio I tried to do it with. It was basically a full stack app where you could just change names, create posts, and no cigar. It did not work. I didn't get a freelancing job using this. But then I spent 4 months making a very good portfolio. I was also learning about 3JS at the same time. So I was learning and making this. And literally the very next day after I finished this portfolio, I got the freelancing job. Like, this sounds fake, but like literally the next day after I finished this, it was only $40, but still I got the freelancing job. Also, I got a second freelancing job, which I kind of regret taking, but that's a different story. This is basically just proof that having a good portfolio is very important. So niche and portfolio, very importante. To finish the house, we need a roof. The reviews are the roof over your head. Take our portfolio, we take our niche, and we try to get as many reviews as possible. You can see some examples of how I tried to over deliver just to get a good review. Worked quickly and exceeded our expectations. We'll call upon him again. I was really impressed with his attention to detail before we even began. He had a list of questions, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I just really made sure when I got started that I got really, really good reviews in the niche that I was working in. So to summarize, basically find a niche, make a good portfolio, and then just get a bunch of good reviews. That's it.
If you're homeless, just buy a house.
If you're dead, just respawn. If you're deaf, just hear. I know that it sounds simple, but also my opinion is pretty shit. So let us listen to other freelancers. Tell me about yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Julia.
Julia, she has made over $100,000 on Upwork. This is Martin. He has made over $200,000 on Upwork alone.
I'm Safiola.
Safi works at Klarna, has made over $20,000 on Upwork.
Hi, so my name is Alim Karim.
Alim is a geology graduate who taught himself how to code and now has made over $2,000 on Upwork alone. They were all kind enough to share their freelancing knowledge and you can find their links in the description below. What did you wish you knew when you got started with freelancing? So now that you're freelanced for 4 years, now if you went back 4 years, what would you wish you knew? What?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good one. Creating very long cover letters.
Cover letter is the message you write when you apply to a job.
I would recommend to save your time and pay attention to, again, 2-3 lines. These are the most important one.
Well, that's a tough question. I don't specialize. When I started freelancing, I was doing WordPress, .NET, mobile apps, whatever I could get. But I started specializing just in Flutter. Yeah, getting really, really good at something, like at one specific field.
I see. Be assessed or evaluated for different badges, different talent badges. Sometimes they reach out to you by themselves, but sometimes you've got to raise a request.
So what Safi is talking about is the top rated rising talent blah 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 badges on Upwork. Sometimes you have to message Upwork and ask them to give you this badge, because if you have this badge, it just gives you a higher chance of getting a job because you rank higher in the proposal stuff and blah blah blah.
Honestly, I would say how supportive people are. If you surround yourself with the right crowd, people are just so kind and they're so understanding. Like you'd think going door to door, people would be like, "Oh, get out! I don't have time." But actually, so many of the businesses just want to hear what you're saying. Even if they say no, they still want to hear it.
Angry face, crying face, star face, neutral face. The 4 emojis lived peacefully until, if you want to start working on your own coding projects, check out Just Code. This is how I would have wanted to learn code. It's gonna be a little harder than your normal course from this to this, and you have to just basically figure out yourself how you can do that. There are some hints that will nudge you in the right direction, and if you can't solve it, you can click on the milestone solution. And the Chrome plugin is literally completely free, so I do recommend you give it a try. Would you recommend others to freelance? It can be simple yes or no answer if you don't want to give a long.
That's the good one. There are like some advantages and disadvantages. I would say yes.
Yeah, I would highly recommend everyone, like every software engineer, to at least do freelancing for a finite amount of period in their career, maybe 6 months, 1 year. Literally shifts your mental model, gives you a lot of capabilities. You start to see yourself beyond an engineer. So I would strongly recommend.
Yes.
Absolutely. I do it all the time. Yeah.
So the biggest thing that I learned in the beginning was to speak. I was basically very shy, and every time I had to go into a meeting, I was just nervous. And the solution was to just go into a bunch of meetings, even if I wasn't interested in the job, just talking, learning to talk. Also, as Julia said, learning how to write your proposal message. So you read a job proposal, you ask a bunch of questions, and when they answer, you just clarify all of those answers they gave. And there's of course other small things, and you can pause the video now and read through them. But one thing to keep in mind is that freelancing on Upwork is just one way of freelancing. Something that I started about 2 years ago, selling these 3D characters, bring in a decent amount of money every month passively. I'm not showing this to flex. I'm showing this because every few days or weeks, companies see the 3D characters online and they're like, hey, Could you create custom characters for us? Could you create custom animations for us? Blah, 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 blah. That basically means that 3D characters that I sell and get money for are also an advertisement at the same time. Another good example who does this is UI8. They basically sell illustrations, UI designs. They have a studio.ui8, and they do websites, landing pages, illustrations, and they charge 25,000 a Saturnity UI. They basically have Tailwind components that they give away for free, and they look really good. People like them a lot. And at the same time, they do custom components for a decent amount of money. I know that these are very large companies, but they all started somewhere. So if I started this freelancing thing in 2024, I would of course continue using platforms like Upwork, but also start creating products for platforms. You can make coded templates, UI designs. I'm not sure what that you need to figure out yourself, but whatever you'll make it so good that companies will see it and be like, we want this guy to create custom stuff for us. I've tried doing SaaS, digital products, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to see how that went, check out this video. And if for some reason I also did dropshipping, so you can check out how that went here. I think that's also very interesting and I would recommend you check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.